Welcome to today's video. I'm Gary Wiriawan and today we're visiting this restaurant in the countryside again in Yogyakarta. I think you've already seen this restaurant before in my previous vlog, but this is part of my everyday photography challenge. I'm eating dinner here with my family and I thought I want to squeeze a little bit of photography time. It's currently almost sunset and it's really dark right now, so the lighting condition is not really that optimum, but nevertheless I will still try to make the most out of it. By the way, this is part of my everyday photography challenge. You can watch the other vlogs on the card above right here. In terms of camera gear today, it's just very simple. I'm just using the Panasonic G85 and I'm going to try to use just one lens, which is the 35 to 100mm f4 to f5.6, my favorite mini telephoto lens. It's becoming my favorite lens as well, not just my favorite telephoto lens, but my favorite lens for everyday kind of photography, because I can just select a very small part of the frame and try to focus on that area and get less distraction on the image and try to make something good out of it. So yeah, it's been a really enjoying experience. So now let's try to find some composition and try to take some nice photographs. Let's go. Alright, so the first composition for today, actually it's already almost sunset, so it's very dark right now, plus it is cloudy and it was raining earlier today, which is quite unusual in the month of July here in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. But my first composition, if you remember my previous vlog, is that building over there, the white little house in the middle of the paddy field with the trees behind. I'm going to try to capture that house again. Let's try to play around with some composition right now. I was thinking earlier, as you can see down here, there were some plants. However, when I tried to use the telephoto lens, the 35 to 100mm, it was a little bit chaotic and it's just not the perfect foreground for the composition that I have in mind. So let's try to play with today's composition. So I'm at aperture priority f5.6 100mm. I'm underexposing by about 1 stop because I think it's just a little bit too bright in my taste if I don't underexpose. So maybe let's try with the horizontal composition first. Let's try a very simple subject on a little bit to the left of the frame, something like this maybe. Alright. By the way, I am using electronic shutter to preserve the shutter life of the GX85 because I'm noticing that I've been taking lots and lots of pictures lately, so I want to try to kind of prolong the lifespan of this little camera because this camera is just fantastic and I don't want it to die too quickly. Right, for the second composition, I'm going to try to use the foreground again, these little plants down here, and try to incorporate it into my frame. And what I have in mind is I want to try to zoom out to 35mm so that I can have a little bit of these plants without them looking too weird or too distracting. Right, something like this maybe. I don't know if it's working or not. We're just going to try to take the shot anyway. Something like this. I'm going to select the part where the plants down below won't look too weird or too distracting. Something like this maybe. Alright, nice. Alright, so for the second composition today, I was thinking to try to capture these palm trees over here and hopefully try to make them look nice. They're perfectly lined up over there, as you can see on the frame, but I just want to try to make sure that they look nice. So yeah, aperture priority, I'm still with the 35 to 100mm. I'm going to go to f5.6. ISO auto, but now it's 3200 because it's very dark right now. You can see that in the video camera it's bright because I exposed it properly, but when I see it with my own eyes it just looks so dark and it's just gloomy. Right, so I'm zooming to about 40 or 50mm. I'm going to try to get about 5 of those palm trees. About 45 to 50mm is where I'm at. And I'm trying to get a little bit of the reflection going on right there. Alright, I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I didn't get all of that reflection. Alright, maybe now I get it perfect. Alright, this is about 40 or 45mm. Something like this. Well, Let me try to capture that white building again that we photographed earlier and use two of the palm trees as sort of a framing device for our picture. As you can see on the camera right there, can get the white building in between two of the palm trees. I think that looks really nice, but it's really too bright. It's not supposed to be that bright, so I'm underexposing to about 1.5 stop or something like that. Right, something like this. Let's try vertical. I think it looks even better. The focusing starts to fail because it's too dark, but we're just gonna keep trying. Alright, going to put the house a little bit lower on the frame. With the GX85 you have that amazing sensor stabilization, so that even right now with very low shutter speed of about 25, we can still get a perfectly sharp image with vibration free. Right, that looks kind of nice. I'm trying to explore this area right here where there are little islands. Maybe you can try to make something out of that. Maybe combine it with the palm trees behind to make that kind of layered landscape photography kind of image. Let's try. I'm going to just dial down the underexpose, and I'm about 1 stop underexposed right now as opposed to 1.5 stop. I think this looks nice. Let's try. I don't know if this image will work or not, but I just like the overall feel of layers and lines and reflection, that kind of thing, from this particular image. Alright, let's try to find something else. Alright, so I found an interesting sort of picture right here. I'm thinking of using this yellow flowers down here as sort of a foreground of interest, and I'm going to use those plants in the middle as sort of a middle layer, and then the paddy field and the trees at the background as sort of a background. Just a simple layered kind of landscape photograph. So yeah, I'm about 50mm right now, and as you recall from my previous videos, to control the foreground, you can kind of raise and lower the camera. By lowering the camera, you get more foreground, and by raising the camera, you get less background, as you can see on my camera right now. So I'm going to try to adjust until I get the perfect balance. I'm going to focus somewhere on the palm tree in the background. Hopefully my camera still be able to catch the focus. I'm at very low shutter speed right now. Maybe I will try to raise the ISO to 6400. It's a little bit too high in my opinion, but I don't mind. We can use denoise AI on Lightroom. You can watch the video up here, of course, about the denoise AI on Lightroom for Micro Four Thirds images. So yeah, this is the picture that I was thinking about. Something like this. I have to be really careful not to shake the camera. I'm taking multiple shots just to make sure that I get one that's not blurry, because this is very low shutter speed. Again. Alright, we got some animals right here. We have deer and also ostrich right there. Hello, good evening everybody. Well, I'm just passing through. I'm not going to photograph them, although they make for a nice composition. I just don't feel like I'm trying to photograph. Okay, hang on a second. I like to try to take a headshot of this ostrich right here. So let's try 100mm, ISO 6400. I'm waiting until the camera nails the focus. Alright, got one. Let's try one more. It's missing focus because it's way too dark right now. Alright, I think this will be the last image for today's vlog, because it's getting really dark and I don't think it's possible for me to capture any more good pictures. So yeah, I'm thinking of using these plants that we saw earlier on the previous composition as sort of a foreground, and then the paddy field, and then the trees as sort of the background. A very simple layered composition again. So yeah, something like this. I'm at about 60mm, and again I'm raising, lowering the camera as needed to get the perfect blend of foreground, midground and background. Yeah, f5.6, ISO 6400. Alright, let's try one more time. Alright. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that you find this video to be helpful, inspiring, informative, makes you want to go out and try to photograph something. So please don't forget to support my channel as well by liking this video, sharing this video, and subscribing to my channel down below. It will really help me to grow this channel even further. And if you want to support my channel even more, you can use the affiliate links down below and also use the super thanks button down below to give me a small amount of donation, and that will greatly appreciate it for me to help build this channel even better. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.